Okay, this is a video about agents, informants, people who are paid to infiltrate organizations, movements. It's important that I do this video because these people are sociopathic. They can do a lot of damage, and you don't suspect them because, they don't want them to be suspected. These people who infiltrate organizations, who pose as activists, and who disrupt and discredit genuine organizations might even create false beefs or false arguments between each other. So what you'll have is a false or a staged conflict between two agents or two disinformation agents. And instead of realizing that both are used to discredit the movement, one is naturally drawn to one or the other. So that's a way for them to both discredit the movement by showing that there is a split, between two disinformation agents, and also to force you into a false dichotomy so that you're choosing between two bad people. They tend to, these agents or disinformation agents or double agents or provocateurs or, informants, they use cliched revolutionary talk. So you'll hear them talking like they're from the 60s or, like 60s revolutionaries, or but it'll feel static. It'll feel cliched. It won't have that natural feel to it, like, they're actually revolutionaries. It'll feel like they're copying something that they some popular movement, some popular figure. It'll seem like they're copying them. It won't be natural. They like to stir up emotion. They're provocateurs, so they stir up emotions to see which activists are sincere, or which activists are a genuine threat to whoever they're being paid for, whether it be for the government, the CIA, FBI, private individuals who, want to discredit you. These people, like if they're doing videos or something like that, they'll show like graphic content, disturbing pictures that are unnecessary, and for questionable reasons. And they'll seem callous in doing so. Like, they'll say, oh, well, I just want you to see what's going on. But there's a certain, like if you have a certain moral or if you have a conscience, you're not going to show certain pictures, or you're not going to show them often because it'll be disturbing. So look out for insensitivity. They might have seemingly unnatural bursts of emotion. So, they're, as agent provocateurs and disinformation agents, they'll seem very angry about, certain things that are going on, but it won't feel as though it'll feel like an act. They might have a questioning look in their eye, like their eyes might dart back and forth towards their audience to see, do they still believe me? It's hard to explain, but like if you see a presenter who's looking at the audience in a way like, have they caught me yet? It's hard to explain, but that questioning look, as if, hopefully no one's caught me, They make sure to condemn Christianity. Now, they might encourage, like at the end of their presentation, they might encourage people to be a cultist, or, do what you want, or, be an atheist, but they will steer clear of Christianity, or they will discredit Christianity. And as they sneak in their false information, because the best disinformation agents, or people who are paid to discredit a movement, they'll give, like 80% truth, 20% lies. So when they're telling the lies, they might say them very quickly, like, like they know consciously they're sneaking in the lies, so they'll say it quickly and without explanation, then go to the next topic, because consciously they know what they're doing in terms of slipping that information in. So if you notice that a presenter is presenting some information quickly, And then they, quickly move to the next topic without explaining it, even though they explained everything up to that point, then that indicates that the person could be a disinformation agent. They're great speakers because that's what they're paid to be. That's what they're paid to do. They're paid to be convincing. So they're convincing, and they have an answer for everything. They'll never say, "I don't know," because the idea is to present the image, the facade of being a reliable and trusted source. And they might, as cliched revolutionaries or whatever, they might repeat certain phrases over and over again, phrases that they don't believe in, but the idea is to program you. So if you wonder why is this person saying the same phrase over and over again, it's meant to program you. Freemasonry, if they're involved in like secret societies or they're a Freemason, you know, that's an indicator that they could be part of, a network that's putting out information that will be beneficial to their group, but not to you because you're an outsider. They might encourage you. These disinformation agents are people who are paid to start phony organizations or activists, or to discredit activists. They might really encourage you to join their organization or join other organizations, or to contact them because they're trying to keep track of your activities. So if you are listening to a person, they're, call this number, or, give your information here, or join this organization, join that organization. It might be because they know that those organizations are being monitored, or they're trying to track your information. And plus, like when some of these organizations, like if they're already corrupt, then your work as a genuine activist or a genuine person who wants to work for change will be funneled into this corrupt organization that you've joined because you were encouraged to join it by someone who is corrupt. So it's like they're sucking you into that spider web of, you're putting your effort towards a corrupt organization, and therefore that further helps them to discredit whatever organization that they're trying to discredit, or whatever movement they're trying to discredit. So don't be quick to join, organizations, because if the organizations have already been infiltrated or are run by corrupt people, then you're wasting your time in an interview. Because, you're under these people, and they, essentially you have to go with the organization. If you're part of the organization, you have to do what the organization calls you to do. If the person that you're, the disinformation agent, or the agent provocateur, or whatever person, whatever you want to call them, if they have respectable jobs, like, if they work for the government, or, if they have stable, respectable jobs, you might want to question, why they are doing what they're doing. Because, if they're skilled at something, like if they're a lawyer, if they're a successful business person, if they're in leadership roles in secret societies, it kind of indicates that they're highly skilled at something. And if they're highly skilled at that, then they could possibly be using that against you, or using what they're doing, like the activism that they're doing, as a side job. So their real job is with law enforcement, or their real job is as a successful business person, but they're doing the activism as a side job in order to scam people or get information. So it's important to know what they do as their day job. If a quote activist continually like lifts you up and then puts you down, meaning, they say, oh, we're going to start this revolution, or we're going to start this change, but at the same time, they're making you feel like, you're nothing, or, so they're paralyzing you. It's like they're they're giving you unrealistic motivation, and then they're saying, well, you can't do anything. It's again that spider web to kind of deactivate you, to discredit you, um, to water you down. See, they are acting as cliched mockeries of the movement they're trying to discredit. So if you mimic them in the organization, they run and thus unwittingly help to discredit the movement. So if you mimic them and they are giving you motivation that they have no intention of going through with, like if they're saying, yeah, let's overthrow this or do that, or and you're saying, yeah, you're copying what they're saying, and they're not doing anything, and you're not doing anything, and they never had an intention of doing it, but you're mimicking them, that you're becoming a cliche like they want you to become, because they want to discredit genuine activists. So just be careful who you mimic and who you listen to. Because if they want to discredit you, they'll stir up emotions in you and encourage you to mimic them in a subtle way, and you'll end up discrediting yourself. So their job entails being a bad example for genuine activists, because clearly they don't have any plans for like a real change. So yeah, they might encourage violent revolution, but have like stable jobs, families, children, and so their life will contradict how they talk. Because the idea is to get you to react violently while they sit and watch, or take note and give it to their superiors or whatever. And therefore, to justify your surveillance or your neutralization or arrest. So they might be sending you on a suicide mission, while playing like the motivational music, which is their chants, their subtle brainwashing or mind control techniques. But they're not revolutionaries, they're deceivers and will not go with you. These people tend to be carnal and materialistic, like will do anything for money. So if you know of an activist or a disinformation agent who's, always wearing the stylish clothes, makeup, just very concerned with their physical appearance, chances are they put that above other things that should be more important. So, they would be willing to look out for their carnal desires above any, movement or anything like that. So just look out for materialistic or carnal people who are more concerned with the outer and with the physical than with anything else. They might prop up the wrong people, like they might, as icons or as idols, they might prop up people who are, obviously evil, and they'll never criticize these people. But they might take genuine activists who had personality flaws or had flaws in their life and like really emphasize these mistakes that these people made, rather than be understanding. They'll keep on downing actual revolutionaries while propping up false revolutionaries in order to get you confused about who you should follow, or in order to encourage people who follow corrupt leaders to just continue following them and not criticize them. These people, their familiarity with you comes too quickly, and their friendliness comes too quickly, and they start calling you brother and sister too quickly, and it shows that they're not genuine. If these people interview or talk to certain people, and shortly after these people end up like arrested, or it might have something to do with, like, if it's a habit or it's common for the people who are interviewed by these people to end up arrested in jail, then that could indicate that the person is an informant. Or if they're too helpful, like they have too much time to help people who are activists, that might indicate that they're helping to gather information for someone else. People who do videos and always conceal their face, like with sunglasses, like if you're on a webcam and you have on some sunglasses, that could indicate that the person is trying to hide their eyes so you don't see that they're deceivers. They might use humor inappropriately, like something serious is a serious matter, but they're laughing. Could be because they're paid to make light of the situation so that people are off guard, or so that people become desensitized. So if you notice a person who's always laughing about serious topics while they're talking about them, could indicate that, it's part of the program to make light of the situation, for the viewers. And, most people aren't willing to lose their life for a cause. So if you have any quote activist saying, yeah, let's die for this or let's die for that, you got to realize that it takes months and years to program people to willingly die for a cause created by someone else. They make the cause concrete and real in the mind of the target. So they program the target through sophisticated processes. But you got to understand, God is not concrete or real in the minds of most people. God does not pay their bills. God does not put food on the table. God doesn't talk to them. So unfortunately for a lot of people, money is their God. So they'll do what they have to do for money. So, if someone is encouraging you to do everything you can, to save this movement, or put your life on the line and stuff like that, you really need to investigate them and make sure that they're not being paid in order to get you to do something foolish. They have seemingly hidden sources of income for their operation, but they're able to create elaborate films, and it doesn't seem to add up to the meager amount of donations they claim to be getting. They could be getting income from nefarious sources in order to program, indoctrinate you. The logos or images on their websites will be inappropriate, maybe dark, sexual, just put you in a base emotional state. If they often interview people who are known disinformation agents, then they're probably working in like a network. They probably know, that these are disinformation agents. I mean, sometimes you don't know, but if it happens frequently, you know. And if people come out of the blue, like if you become an activist and people you haven't talked to for years come out of the blue and all of a sudden want to talk with you and stuff like that, they could be paid by some source that wants to discredit you or get information about you. So whenever you go public with your activism, be very careful about who from your past you let back in your life. What makes you vulnerable to informants, disinformation agents, activists, who are just provocateurs, people that mean you harm because they're getting paid for it, and who, they don't have conscience, so, they'll do anything for money. What makes you vulnerable is if you have an overwhelming need for friendship or relationship, if you're naive about the notion of group unity, if you subscribe to the "we are all one" New Age propaganda, if you're carnal, if you rush to make important decisions, and if you're impulsive. So just realize that money is the god of a lot of people. And if you're trying to genuinely do something to help society, realize that there's a force that is working against you. And so therefore you have to carefully watch what information you allow in your mind, what people you allow around you, and just keep your eyes open, and don't be quick to trust people you don't know.